I want to talk about the debate that most Romish Christian pastors bring against those of us that honor God's Sabbath today. Because most of the time we're playing the defense when in fact we should be playing the offense. We should be asking them why and where in the scriptures does it indicate to observe the first day as the Sabbath? And why do you observe the first day as the Sabbath? When most Romish Christian pastors and theologians debate those of us who honor God's seventh day, one of the top positions they take is that God's commandments given through Moses only apply to ancient Israel and are not for us today. And another position is that the law was not kept by any of the righteous servants prior to the children of Israel. And in drawing those conclusions, most of today's pastors overlook, number one, the directions given to Noah. Over in the book of Genesis, the 7th chapter, verse 1, the scripture says this: "And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation." Now we know before the flood, the scripture says that the whole earth was just wicked. And the Most High God had to destroy that entire mankind that was on earth. He had to. But again, he tells Noah, I want you to build an ark. I want you to come into the ark, you and your house, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. And then notice something in verse 2. The very next thing he tells Noah, of every clean beast thou should take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Now, he's talking about Leviticus, the 11th chapter, which is the dietary law. But the dietary law was, as we know, in written form, was given to the children of Israel after they came out of Egypt. So this is why most people think that that's the first time that it existed. But in fact, no. This is a servant, being Noah, who knew about the dietary law way before, hundreds of years before it was given to Moses and the children of Israel on Mount Sinai. Another point Romish Christian pastors overlook is the full significance of what God said about Abraham's obedience in Genesis, the 26th chapter, verses 4 and 5, hundreds of years before God spoke to Moses and Israel at Mount Sinai. I want to look at verse number 4. That's Genesis, the 26th chapter, verse 4. Listen to what he says. "And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed." Now, this in and of itself will make you think that there are future plans for Abraham's seed, being the children of Israel, that their job is to be a blessing to all the nations of the earth. This is in the future, not just Israel, but to all of the other nations of the earth. So being that the commandments were later given to Moses and the children of Israel, what were they to be? What were they to do with them? So if we are a nation of priests, being a nation of teachers, we're not teaching ourselves. Our job is to teach the other nations. Look at verse number 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. Well, if the commandments were only given to Moses and the children of Israel, what is it that you think that Abraham had? Hundreds of years before they were even given to Moses and the children of Israel. And I want you to look at that because it's remarkable that this is precisely the way in which obedience to the Sinai covenant is expressed in Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter, verse 1. It says, therefore, thou shalt love the Lord thy God and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always. The very same words that he used in Genesis 26:5. So Abraham is an example of one who shows the law written on his heart. He is the first one that is an example of true obedience to the law, the one whom the Lord could say, Abraham obeyed me. Abraham obeyed the laws, the same statutes, the same commandments that were given later to Israel. However, the laws of sacrifice were not applicable in Abraham's day because Abraham did not sin. The sacrificial laws came because of Israel's sins. The sacrificial laws have been abolished today. The laws pertaining to the temple and the priests no longer exist because a physical temple no longer is standing. And we have a sacrificial lamb who is Jesus himself. I want to read Hebrews, the 9th chapter, verse 9 and 10. It says, which Israel. Let's look at Exodus, the 12th chapter, verse 49. It says, one law shall be to him that is homeborn and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So most of the Romish Christian pastors today say the Ten Commandments is only for the children of Israel and not to the Gentiles today. But we clearly see that the same law is for those that are homeborn, is the same law that is for the stranger that wants to sojourn along with Israel. Oh, we can go even into the book of Numbers, the 15th chapter, verse 15 and 16. And it says, one ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation and also for the stranger that sojourns with you. An ordinance forever in your generations. As ye are, so shall the stranger be before the Lord. And then verse 16 says, one law and one manner shall be for you and the stranger that sojourneth with you. So that debunks the theory that the Ten Commandments and the seventh-day Sabbath was only given to the children of Israel, and it's not applicable to anybody else. We even have to go over to the book of Isaiah, the 56th chapter. Listen to what it says in verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, keep my judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Listen to this. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the Son of Man that lay holdeth on it. Listen to this. That keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Here it is in verse 3. Neither let the son of the stranger that hath joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord. These scriptures will wake you up and see the truth that the Sabbath is not only for Israel, but it's for all nations. All nations.